Hello, everybody. Welcome back for another video. I hope you're all doing well and having an absolutely fantastic day. Without any further ado, let's jump right into it. We're still receiving news about the Bitcoin ETFs. For those of you who haven't been following recently, it's been a very dramatic last 2 weeks with a lot of information pouring out of the space. To summarize, the companies involved in the spot Bitcoin ETF space, whether they have filed for, purchased, or own these ETFs, have their information processed through the SEC. Over the past 2 weeks, we've seen news about banks around the world buying Bitcoin through these ETFs, institutions making similar purchases, and even central and world banks getting involved. Despite the significance of these developments, such as central banks and major financial entities buying Bitcoin, this news hasn't been getting the attention it deserves. Most days, the popular news stories seem to focus on less critical topics. Another noteworthy event was the announcement from the Basel Supervisory Banking Committee. They revealed that 19 central banks are holding Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Cardano, and possibly another cryptocurrency, though 2 banks chose not to disclose their holdings. This information also didn't gain much traction in the mainstream news. In summary, all the filings, updates, and news about Bitcoin ETFs continue to show phenomenal growth. For example, BlackRock's spot Bitcoin ETF has received more than 400 asset ownership notifications, yet this significant progress has largely flown under the radar. It's the first filing season, which Bloomberg ETF analyst Eric Balchunas described as a mind-blowing and record-breaking achievement. Oh gosh, how could I have forgotten? For those of you who have been following along, we recently received some significant news just 3 or 4 days ago. The update revealed that the 10 U.S. companies with spot Bitcoin ETFs are collectively holding almost 900,000 Bitcoin, achieved in just 128 days. This is another indication that they are accumulating a significant portion of Bitcoin while most people are not paying attention. Balchunas expressed his surprise in a post, presumably on Twitter, given the platform's popularity for such announcements. Over the past month and a half, 13 filings from financial institutions have been gradually released. These filings, which report Bitcoin spot ETF holdings as of the end of the first quarter of this year, provide valuable insights into which entities are purchasing spot Bitcoin ETF shares and the extent of their investments. The total filings reveal that 937 professional firms were invested in these ETFs as of March 31st, a tenfold increase compared to the number of companies invested in gold ETFs, according to an analysis by Bitwise. We keep getting this kind of news all the time. Despite what Peter Schiff and others might say on CNBC, Fox Business, or other financial news outlets, something incredibly significant is happening. We have evidence and reports showing that world banks, governments, central banks, institutions, family offices, you name it, are all buying up billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin. Meanwhile, the mainstream financial news tends to focus on topics like Amazon's performance or minor fluctuations in gold prices, overlooking the fact that Bitcoin is gradually disappearing from cryptocurrency exchanges due to these large-scale purchases. So, yeah, it's been quite a hectic 10-plus day period. These filings continue to be released, detailing who holds how much Bitcoin. If this news isn't compelling enough, I'm not sure what else to say. We can't keep having such major developments and seeing them go unnoticed. The majority of people, even those in crypto, aren't paying attention to the fact that Bitcoin ETFs have 10 times as many companies invested compared to gold. This seems logical to me, as it feels rather old-fashioned for any company to still be investing heavily in gold. That's the news on financial institution filings. Moving on, Litecoin has resurfaced in the cryptocurrency space. Apparently, Litecoin has been performing exceptionally well, with a significant number of people buying it. About 2 months ago, we discussed rumors that a Litecoin ETF could be in the works. Due to Litecoin's decentralized nature, similar to Bitcoin, creating such an ETF could be relatively straightforward. Over the past 30 days, Litecoin whales have accumulated a substantial 2.7 million Litecoin. On May 10 alone, there was a net inflow of over 900,000 Litecoin into these addresses, marking the highest daily accumulation since February. It's odd that Litecoin has re-emerged in the news after years of relative obscurity. It was quite popular around 2015 and 2016, and many believed it would remain in the spotlight in 2017. However, the rush of new coin creations overshadowed it, especially after the creator of Litecoin decided to step back to avoid influencing the price. In the crypto space, no hype usually means no price movement. Nevertheless, Litecoin continues to be a solid coin. It's a shame it's not more prominent, considering that many coins that gained the spotlight over the years turned out to be scams or have since disappeared. Litecoin, on the other hand, has been consistently reliable, often used as a Bitcoin test net. Notably, Litecoin has had zero downtime over its 12.5-year existence, unlike other blockchains like Solana, which experiences frequent outages. In other news, Ripple whales have collectively purchased over 110 million XRP tokens in the past 2 weeks, totaling approximately $55 million. This surge in activity suggests that we might be nearing what analysts call alt season, where altcoins experience significant price increases. This is potentially due to the recent dip in Bitcoin's price. So, that's the roundup of the latest developments. We continue to see significant activity in the crypto space, with major players accumulating substantial amounts of Bitcoin, Litecoin, and XRP. Had immediately after the halving, which always happens this time was 3 weeks, and I think many other times are 3 to 4 weeks. I don't know the exact time frame for them. The calls continuously are coming in for a $100,000 Bitcoin by I think the middle or end of July, basically midsummer type of time frame, and the idea is for those of you who've never been here before, who have been here before, who have forgotten, if Bitcoin does well, the entire market does well, but if Bitcoin does well by like 7%, altcoins do well by like 18%. There's so many articles, I don't have them here of course, with people talking, waiting basically for a $3 to 5 XRP, which people think is going to be the number that we hit this year. Next year we're not going to talk about those numbers because 2025 numbers are always obscenely large and completely all over the place. So besides the idea that Bitcoin is nearing moving toward in a couple of weeks days $100,000 plus per coin, the sentiment relatively negatively positive around Ethereum. It's difficult to gauge right now because of all the stuff that's going on, and also the idea that if Bitcoin does well everyone else does well, and this is why we're getting a lot of like accumulation news. As of late there are also rumors, a lot of rumors this episode, rumors of the lawsuit against from Ripple versus SEC being over relatively soon. Why? Because around 3 weeks ago we got news that I believe the SEC and Ripple put in their final judgment number, which is like the SEC's completely psychotic, and they wanted $3 billion from Ripple, and I think Ripple said that they'd be okay paying, I think the number was $10 million, I think that's what it was, still far too much. The SEC should actually be paying them at this point, but alas. So the idea that the lawsuit might soon be over the people. From when the lawsuit is over, the company plans to go public. Additionally, we're receiving news that Ripple is developing a stablecoin for the XRP blockchain. Historically, such initiatives have performed exceptionally well on other chains. Ripple typically undertakes projects only when there is significant demand, indicating that people are already asking for this stablecoin. A unique feature of the XRP blockchain is that a small amount of XRP is burned with every transaction. This adds a deflationary aspect to the currency. There's a lot happening right now, but consider this: in April, stablecoins had a transaction value of $2.2 trillion. If a stablecoin is launched on the XRP blockchain and handles, say, $200 million per month, a substantial amount, though not as high as $2.2 trillion, the transaction fees in XRP would be burned. This would reduce the total supply of XRP, making it even more deflationary and potentially increasing its price announced before.